You might remember Elizabeth Holmes, the CEO of Theranos, a smoke and mirrors startup that was supposed to revolutionize blood testing. She managed to con a lot of investors to the tune of a $9 billion valuation. In cases like this, when the house of cards comes crumbling down, the question that everyone asks is, how could this happen? And the fact is that besides being a con artist, Holmes also displays psychopathic behavior signals to force an authority image on everyone around her. Signals such as her unsettling stare, the fake voice all the time, and one narcissistic red flag. The good news is that the skills that you're going to develop in the next 9 minutes are going to help you spot these kinds of people at your workplace so you can act accordingly. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Enrique Rosas and I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Number 1, that unsettling stare. Many have talked about the way Holmes has this supposedly psychopathic stare, and just to be clear, there is no such thing as a psychopathic stare. There are people who have certain limitations in regards of how they process facial emotions and clues, and maybe they'll stare at your face without blinking for more than usual and make you feel uncomfortable. That does not mean they're psychopaths or anything. It is true that psychopaths blink less, usually hold their gaze for more time than most people, and have less reactions to stimuli. For example, if someone raises their hand quickly, being next to them, maybe they won't even have any reaction. The problem is that all these traits are not exclusive to them. But anyway, I ran some tests in the way Holmes used her gaze and noticed that there are both moments of almost no blinking and moments of natural blinking pattern. Like if we were looking at two different people.
Centrifuging them, leaving them on counters, and that's where 93% of the error and variability is introduced. So, create something new, there should be questions. And to me, that's a sign that you've actually done something that is transformative. When will I?
That's going to be important later on. What was strange is that she supposedly came up with the idea of Theranos because she had this fear of needles. And in fact, when she speaks about them, her blinking rate shoots through the roof.
Part of that is because of fear of needles. People don't like big needles being stuck into their arm. Part of it...
You're one of those people, right?
Deeply so, yes.
Now, psychopaths can feel fear or have certain phobias, but they express the anxiety that comes with that fear in a different way than most people. Holmes' reaction when she talks about needles looked really natural, even if it could have been practiced. There's another thing that makes me doubt that she's an authentic psychopath. I already mentioned that she had mixed displays with her gaze. Sometimes she fixed her eyes to the point of piercing the other person, and sometimes she blinked like any human being. This led me to think that possibly she was using this eye-piercing technique to project confidence or authority. And yes, staring long enough without blinking is something that everyone finds unsettling. Like the person means business. It's sort of a predatory stare. But I noticed that in those moments that Holmes was like 20 seconds without blinking, she got bloodshot eyes. Like her eyes became irritated. And that's a signal that the person is trying to force that non-blinking, as she's trying to do something that does not come natural to her. And it seems that she was trying to portray this image of being a shark. And it makes sense since she was trying to pull off one of the greatest scams in history. But being natural or not, you must be aware of the blinking pattern of the people around you. For how long do they look at your eyes and the eyes of others? And that way you'll notice if you're trying to be intimidating with their gaze. But blinking rate was not the only thing that Holmes tried to manipulate. Number 2 is her fake voice. Holmes' obviously fake voice is my greatest concern. Many people talk about this, but no one dared to call her off on that.
I started this company because I believe that that nothing matters more than what people go through today when...
That's not her natural tone, and one of the ways you can spot that someone is trying to pull a baritone on you is that the muscles of their neck are always tense and they never raise their chin above a horizontal line. You can make the test yourself. Try to talk with your face pointing upwards and then with your chin stuck to your chest.
In the second scenario, your voice will sound deeper.
So if you want to fake a deep voice, it would be much easier if you keep your chin down all the time. But why fake her voice? Why make everyone think that she had a lower pitch? And it's because she knew that deep voices are more authoritative. And that trick is pulled by CEOs, politicians, social media influencers, only that it's much more common in men that want to sound more masculine, more powerful. How to know when someone is faking it? Well, the easiest way is to pay attention at the start and end of sentences, especially if someone is doing an interview and they are being asked questions that require real-time cognitive load.
It is at the heart of why we're doing everything that we do every single day. Can be a tool for facilitating a decentralized care delivery infrastructure. Thing that we do every single day. Can be a tool. Thing that we do every single day. Can be a tool.
What happens is that faking a deeper voice is a conscious effort that you have to do all the time. If they are using brain power to make their voice sound deep, then they will be compromising the amount of brain power to answer the question. And that is like a muscle. As their answer progresses, it will be more difficult for them to keep their idea organized, and their voice pitch is going to be progressively higher. The other option is answering total nonsense.
What the innovations are with Theranos, because there's the technology itself. How can you run all of these tests with such a small amount of blood, and why hasn't anybody done this before?
Our belief fundamentally is that the answer to our challenges in healthcare lies in engaging and empowering the individual. And if we can connect with people so that they begin to understand that they have this basic human right to get.
Learning to spot when a man or a woman wants to fake a deeper voice is very useful because that gives you a signal about their self-confidence. That tells you that they don't feel comfortable with their actual voice. Maybe they even feel ashamed of it, so they resort to the worst solution possible, that is faking it. Spotting those clues requires practice, and the best way to start is downloading my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. Number 3 is one narcissistic red flag. We all need role models. It's okay if we look up to figures of history, be motivated by their struggles, by their achievements, and find inspiration in what they did. But one red flag is when you notice that beyond inspiration, someone tries a bit too hard to mimic that role model. In this case, it didn't take long until the media began to compare Elizabeth Holmes to Steve Jobs, especially and precisely for their common abuse of the black turtleneck. And in fact, anyone should have the right to dress in any way they want, what they think is more comfortable to them or more convenient. That's great. But in this case, part of Holmes' way of dressing and even her demeanor was openly driving attention to herself, to her persona, more than the mission of her company. For any sane individual who's actually trying to drive a revolution in health, you will know that these headlines will drive attention away from your message. So not only Holmes did nothing to alleviate this, but she even doubled down in the comparison with Steve Jobs and kept nurturing those headlines. Always wearing black and sometimes looking like the Pope and Darth Vader enter a Brundlepot. And another reason that it was a red flag is that she was copying a successful person, but in a totally different field. Apple's mission had nothing to do with Theranos' mission. So again, the comparison still falls inside a personal dimension. If she was comfortable with that misleading branding, if she was okay with driving attention away from her revolution and into herself, that's a classic narcissistic trait. And I agree that in the corporate world there is a double standard. The media pays way more attention to how women dress and their appearance than how men dress. But the fact is that whenever you stumble upon someone that is trying to drive attention to their persona instead of their mission, and a good example is so many auto-tune abusing so-called musicians that are famous just for the controversy they spark and not their talent, and you can pretty much have the idea that it might just be full of hot air. Bringing it down to our level, but surely have worked with these people, whether co-workers or bosses, that are always implying that everything went well thanks to them. Their ideas, their presence, their words are what keep everything going. And by the way, if your boss role model is a jerk like Steve Jobs, then most probably they find it inspiring being a jerk with you. I've got more videos that you can check now to keep improving your body language skills to detect hidden intentions. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you don't want to miss any of my body language analysis and tips. Take care, my body language buddies.